biggest question I get with all the mindset motivation I love to preach: how do I stay consistent? We can all start. You see people yo-yo diet, you see people be inconsistent, they're in and out of the gym, they start great, they stop, they start again. But how do you do it for longevity? How do you actually stay consistent? Because I have been committed to my healthy lifestyle, the gym, all of the things I really practice and preach has been so consistent for the last 3 years of my life. Here are my top tips, and it's going to be very purely focused on gym motivation and running motivation, but we all know motivation dies. So the key is consistency is going to triumph any initial motivation and actually give you the longevity to consistent feeling throughout your life when you learn how to endure the process. I'm gonna jump straight in. This is going to give you the kick up the butt you need. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Studying to be a naturopath, but I practice and preach, and I love to work with others to really tap into their feminine essence, their own energy, their authenticity. I'm really big on mindset motivation, so if you like that kind of thing, then stick around for the video and let's get into it. First things first, anything you're starting, whether you're going on that running journey or starting a new gym program or have a goal in mind, the starting process is always fun because you get that instant gratification. You get those instant endorphins and you get those kind of instant results. Whether that is mentally, physically, the start process is actually the easiest because you get the instant reward. So the difference between the 1%ers out there who created a lifestyle, we all know the thing, motivation dies and you can't solely rely on it. Discipline over motivation, yes, that is 100% true. But how do you actually do that? Because it's so easy done to hear that, but how do you actually stay consistent? How have I been able to stay consistent and still reap the rewards of this whole journey 3 years later? If it's easy at the start and we all feel that instant reward, the main thing you need to go when you're at the start and you're feeling that is to not take it for granted and really stop to take in that feeling, because you're gonna start to understand your purpose and your why. If you can have gratitude for the start process and those initial feelings, then you're going to have a lot more resilience and a lot more knowledge on how to be grateful during the journey, because that is going to keep you consistent. It's having a plan. Now, I could really preach on how having a coach within your life, whether that's a motivation, a lifestyle coach like me, which you can work with me, links down below, or whether it's a coach, which I highly recommend this as well, for your gym programming, is going to help you stick to a plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a purpose or a why, how are you going to stick to it? Because what's going to be the motivation into you getting up out of bed when the motivation isn't there? When the feeling of excitement is no longer there, because this is now just a mundane task, day in, day out. How are you going to stick to a plan if you don't have one? So get someone in your life or do your own research. If you don't have the means to afford a coach, at least getting all their free content. There is so much free content out here, aka YouTube. You can really start somewhere with not a lot and you'll be able to stick to a plan. Number 2, that leads on to having a kind of goal and having your why. If you don't know your why, I could almost guess that you're just copying or you're not knowing your true authentic self and what's in it for you. You've just seen someone else kind of get the benefits and you want to be like that, but what's your why? You need to find out why you're doing it. What is your sole purpose that sets your soul on fire? No matter when you don't feel like it, you have to have your why. No one else is going to remind you why you started the journey. Your coach might not always remind you, but you need to learn how to do it to yourself. You need to be your own best validation, and that's not validating your excuses. That is knowing your why and doing it no matter what. Number 3, I think this is huge for in the gym and your initial gym journey or whatever your new goal may be, tracking your progress. No matter how daunting that may be, I cannot go on about how tracking your progress is going to keep you kind of motivated throughout the journey. When you feel like you've made no progress, if you can look back to the start, that is going to give you a little bit of a boost of motivation in the middle of your journey, because at the start, the motivation is high. In the middle, it's pretty much almost gone, and at the end, it probably comes back up a bit. So what are you gonna do in the middle to set your soul on fire? You're gonna look back where you started, where this journey all began, why you started this journey, or maybe at the start you didn't even fully know where it was going to take you, but at the middle point, which you're not going to know when the middle point is, but it's probably when your motivation is dying. If you can look back on something, whether that is something written, if you wrote an initial goal or you wrote your initial feelings in your head about something, or it's tracking the progress pics. Now, when I went on my body recomposition and my whole physical transformation, which if anything had more of a mental transformation for me, physically, I didn't even know that I was kind of starting this huge change. I actually just started something and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try and track and, you know, recomp my body a little bit, but I don't even think I knew what it meant at the time. I didn't have a full-on set out plan, but something in me took photos and I am so thankful that I did that. So now I always tell someone to do that because it is the best feeling when you get to look back and see where you truly started from. It's like, damn, because I know a lot of people kind of get to a really good change and someone tells them, wow, you really transformed, and they're like, oh, I guess I have. But if they themselves, I bet you they were like, damn, I wish I had have documented it at the start, not knowing where it was gonna lead me to, but being able to reflect and look back on this is one of the greatest accomplishments. So if you're watching this today, take a photo, write something down. No matter if you're starting it today, that is actually going to be a kickstart without even realizing. So document the journey no matter how daunting it is. Lastly, for my kind of tip in the gym motivation is don't overcomplicate it. Now, this is where hiring a coach, hiring someone to take out the hard part, you come to them with your goal, they are going to give you the plan of attack. That is not overcomplicating it because there is so much bullshit out there. This comes in the food industry, in the fitness industry, little videos on how to get abs. It just doesn't work like that, and they're overcomplicating it, to be honest, because it does not need to be that hard. So I cannot recommend enough to ditch the complicated videos, gym programs, stick to the simple plan. It's the same with eating. Back in the day, it was simple, and I honestly think that is also the key to longevity of your health, is keeping it simple. Don't follow a recipe. Who needs a recipe? If you're having to constantly follow a recipe and you're feeling like the reason why you end up opting for takeaway or end up opting for the more processed macronutrients and those meal plans out there is because you are making it harder than it needs to be. It's becoming quite time restricting when you're following these recipes and you're overcomplicating it in order to be able to enjoy your food, when really just getting the fats, the protein, the carbs, and a bit of your own flavor to it, whatever spices you like, is what's actually going to keep you consistent in being able to stick with it. So whether that's food or the gym program, keep it simple, do not overcomplicate it. All right, with my tips on how to be consistent in the gym, I want to move on to a couple about my running consistency tips. My running journey has not been consistent. If you watched my previous video on running every day for 30 days and how to start running, then this is also going to give you some fuel to your fire on how to keep it a consistent thing. You might not be setting a challenge of running every single day like I did, but it did really do what it needed to do, and that was kickstart my journey back, that initial motivation, and teach me by about day 15, when you don't want to run every day, how am I going to still stay consistent? So here are my tips on running consistency. Number one, and I think this is so easy to do in the running community because we love to share our stats. So don't ever compare your running journey. Our bodies are completely different, and running is a physically and mentally hard task. It is very challenging. So you need to be able to do it for the longevity and not crash and burn. And number one, not compare your results, because it's only you versus you out there, and you should only ever be inspired by other people's results. I'm guilty of wanting to post my stats. I love posting how far I ran, my pace, the time, all of those things, although what often people get caught up in the running community and actually compare their results too much, because they see someone out there, their pace was quicker than them for the same amount of distance, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing good enough. Ran a 6 pace for a while and that's just not that good. Like, there's kind of this like fear out there as soon as it goes above like that 6 kilometer pace that it's just like slow, and that's just not the case, because you never know if you're comparing and you don't actually know what that person might be following a program, how their day went, how they feel their body, that is all going to impact their results. Whether it's positively or negatively, their pace is impacted on their own individual basis. So there's actually a lot of programs out there where you have to run a tempo of a certain pace, or you have to hit your own like max capacity. It's like run 2 kilometers at a 8. And that 8 is different for every single individual. So never compare your stats, because you don't actually know why that stat is what it is. You should only ever be inspired by it, and that is actually going to keep you consistent, because you're then only ever comparing from where you started and not where someone else is either at in their journey. Number 2 for running is set realistic goals. Yes, you could probably set the goal if you've never run before to be like, I signed up for a half marathon, I'm gonna run a half marathon. But if you've never run before, I'm sure by the time you probably do achieve that, you know, you'll make your legs across the line, hopefully. You're going to just kind of be like shocked and thank God that's over and wow, I really did that. But wouldn't it be better if you know that you trusted your body and you went on this whole journey to get through there, however long that kind of journey is, but if you put in the hard work to then get to the half marathon or whatever goal it may be, the 10 kilometers, that is actually going to feel a lot better than just setting an unrealistic goal. And kind of, whether you achieve it or not, realistic goals are going to feel way more rewarding than unrealistic goals. So set realistic goals, because it'll keep you consistent out there on the journey, because you know you have an end game. And I'm sure by the time you get to that end game, you've got a new end game. But either way, it's keeping you on a consistent journey, because you're reaping the rewards of delayed gratification. So realistic goals are where it's at. Number 3 is accountability. Whether it's accountability with yourself and you set whether a physical reminder is gonna pop up on your phone in a few days to be like, did you complete your 3 runs for the week, or whatever it may be, or whether you tell someone in your life or you put it out there. For instance, my 30-day running challenge was kind of accountability, because I put it out there to the world because I wanted to inspire others to have a really good outlook on resilience, and when things get tough, you can still go one more. Like Nick Bear always says, you can go one more, but it really is true. You can always do more. There's always more fuel left in the tank than you think. So accountability is going to help you on the journey. It's also gonna help you enjoy the journey. Whether your accountability is someone else, they're gonna help you, give you that little bit of reassurance of how far you've already come, or they're going to kick you up the butt when you're kind of falling behind. But I think accountability in general, because especially running is quite a very alone with your thought process, there is communities out there to help you be accountable and to feel like you're a part of something and it's not just your own individual journey. Although it is free therapy when you're out there with your own thoughts, having accountability within yourself or with someone else, whatever it means, if it doesn't work to set your own accountability, if you need others to just at least verbally blurt it out to them, that is okay, and that is going to help with consistency, is just staying accountable. Number 4 for running, as much as I just talked about not comparing your stats, I think there is a really amazing tool out there that just helps you stay consistent, especially throughout the middle process when I talked about the motivation is at an all-time low. Having this app and kind of it forming a community within your running is going to help you stay consistent, and that is the app STRAVA. Now, I'm not sponsored by absolutely anything. I just purely love this app, and I think it is an amazing way to connect with others out on this like solo running journey. You actually feel so connected to others. You feel inspired. As long as you're not comparing to their results and their stats, you generally feel inspired by what everyone is achieving. And it's got this amazing feature where you give each other kudos, and who doesn't love a good old kudos? So it's so fun to just give out other people, because spreading happiness, spreading positivity, and just excitement for other people's journey, you're going to reap the rewards. If you can give that back to others, you're also going to feel that. I use a Garmin to run. I probably should do a little running essentials video, but I do love my Garmin because it automatically connects to Strava. So whenever I'm out on a run, as soon as I'm done and click save, I don't have to input anything on Strava, it does it for you. But then if I want to edit it and I want to write how that run felt, if I want to add some photos, you can also do that. So love me some Strava stats. I never compare them. I honestly just love giving others kudos, receiving them myself. It is a great running app. So that is my tip for running. The gym, the apps should be within who you get programmed by or who your coach is, and running, Strava is like a worldwide community that is just amazing. You can even follow your favorite running influencers, which I do, which some of my favorites are Savannah and Holly Bee Fitness here on YouTube. I love following all their running journeys. I hope this helped. It's a no bullshit way to consistency. I'm not gonna tell you that you're always gonna be motivated, because you won't be. You need to have discipline, and I think consistency is the key. Find something that you're actually going to be able to stick with, that is realistic. Instead of just having a small quick fix and a quick instant gratification, being able to see the changes over a longer amount of time are going to feel so rewarding. No matter how mundane it feels in the day, it should honestly become quite enjoyable. If you stick to these key tips, you will be able to enjoy the journey. And that doesn't mean every day it's enjoyable. You know, you're not gonna always feel like getting up and going on that run or going to the gym, but I can almost assure you, on that day when you finish that workout, then you get to enjoy it, because endorphins are a real thing. They will kick in. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, stick around for all my motivational fitness videos. I love to create them for you, and connect with me down below in the comment section, or head over to my Instagram if you want to work with me or just see more of my content. Then that is greatly appreciated. But I hope you stay consistent on whatever journey you're on.